I'm Dustin Craggs. I'm a master's student at the Australian Institute for Machine Learning. I work on reinforcement learning and robotics. We want to create robots that can operate in the real world and follow language-based instructions, which is quite a challenging problem because a robot, for instance, to follow the instruction of go and pick up an orange from the fruit bowl, needs to understand both the language concept of an orange and link that to the visual concept of an orange, and then it needs to translate that into actions to accomplish the task. Humans have specialized neurology in their brains for processing, say, vision and language, but this is very difficult for a robot to learn from scratch. One of the things that I love about AIML is having so many people interested in machine learning in one place. There's always someone to talk to about a problem or hear about interesting problems that other people are trying to solve. Another thing is the regular presentations that they put on. These are from local academics and students, but also from visiting academics from around the world.
My name is Sourav and I'm a postdoc research fellow at Australian Institute for Machine Learning. And I did my PhD here in Brisbane at QUT, then moved to Adelaide to do my postdoc with Sourav and Ian. My area of research broadly is robotic vision and learning. And in that, in particular, I work on visual navigation for robots. The main idea for that is taking inspiration from humans. If a human is asked to go from point A to point B, we can do that very easily. And we do that in ways which we do not really understand clearly, but we have some idea of how we understand things at a very high level and then act according to that. So my area of research is to enable robots to do the same, to move from one place to another. So for example, one of the issues which we always face is that we can develop some algorithms which would work in a particular environment. But then what we want is that those algorithms should work in any kind of scenario where it could be an office, it could be a house, or it could be a warehouse. And to make that happen, we then have to sometimes think from bottom up again, that how we can start doing things in a way which are generally applicable. And one of the ways of doing that is to start with this assumption that maybe perception and control for robot are two separate things. So if we assume that, okay, we can build on top of what people are already solving in perception side of things. For example, we assume that we can understand a scene very well and then use that information to do control, then this is something we call as zero-shot control. So this means we don't have to learn control in that sense. We can just rely on, okay, we understand the environment in a high level, and then we can use that information to make a robot move. And this is the kind of approach we're taking, which would then mean that we can deploy robots much easily because we don't have those assumptions baked in which are tied to a particular environment or tied to a particular task or even tied to a particular type of robot. So that's what makes it more foundational for robotics as well, and then we can take it anywhere. So the thing which I love the most here at AIML, and the reason why I joined here, was the kind of diversity and expertise distribution we have here. So it's like I will fall short of topics to discuss, but I'll always have some people here I can chat to about many different things.